Go.
I should go.
Yeah.
What am I supposed to
It's your show now.
Hi guys, my name is Ruth, as you all know, and I'm here with someone special, as you can see, in all his glory.
Oh.
Because it's our anniversary weekend in how many years?
Of marriage or friendship.
All right, we have a lot of history. It's been 13 years of marriage, but there's a lot of time,
Yeah.
leading to the marriage or the wedding proper. So we decided that, just use this opportunity to talk about how we met and some of the ups and downs, surrounding that event. Welcome back if you've subscribed, and welcome if you're joining us for the first time. This channel, Sugar and Spice, where sugar meets spice. So today sugar is meeting spice, in reality. Sugar is meeting spice or spice, anyhow. Anyone but there's a meeting going on here. As you watch us, if you like the story, just show us some love and click like, make a comment and subscribe. Most of all, would like to hear from you, would like to see you join this community because there's a lot more that we're going to be sharing. Okay, so let's get down to the business of the day. So before they start the story, I didn't meet him first. I met his voice before I met him. I've told some parts of the story in my book, but that's not the full story. I said my own part. So today, everybody is going to get the opportunity to get his part or this part from the horse's mouth.
Ouch.
Let's hear his part.
For
Hey, bedroom voice.
okay.
You are not in the bedroom.
It's okay.
This is Shani.
Okay, so how did it all start? Okay, first of all, just know that it's not going to be a one-part story. You're most likely going to have it in 2 parts or in 3 parts. Some of it you'll hear here, some you go back to the book and tie it in and piece it together. And if you haven't read the book, please go get a copy. How did we meet? If I do remember correctly, I think we were in the University of Nigeria. My friend comes around to visit and tells me, so my younger sister is coming to school.
Did she come around to visit or you went to visit?
I don't know.
If she came around, I would have seen her.
No, I'm not sure which one it was. No, I didn't go to visit. So she sent this cake and a note. My younger sister is in school. Please check up on her. And I said, okay. So they told me the hostel and I went to the hostel. And when I got there, she wasn't in the room. And they told me, don't worry, she stepped out, she'll be back shortly. And I said, okay. So I was still talking. Then someone else said to me, don't worry, when she's coming, you'll hear her voice in the corridor. So
that's not the way I remember it.
I'm telling you, the first day I came to your room, they said you were not there. Yes,
okay,
you were not there.
So you didn't see me.
I didn't see you. Okay. But they told me you will hear her singing in the corridor.
Okay.
If she's coming. Okay. So I waited for a while, you didn't come, and I left. So the next time was when you heard the voice. And like, who is that?
So you had come before. Oh God.
Anyway, so I saw her and I invited her to fellowship. So she came fellowship, and she, after a while, joined the choir. After a while, and we became friends. As in my friend's friend, so we became friends basically. Nothing we're not dating. So don't go there. We're not dating, we're just friends. For me, it was about family and friends. So we would always, music ministers, everybody would always end up in my room. Both male and female, singing or drawing or just talking or eating or basically being a family. When I left school, I was asked to come back and help to administer the fellowship. When I came back, she was one of those that gave me support. But then I had to leave to headquarters in Enugu. and I left in anger. The details of what happened is a story for another day. When I got to Enugu, I was working, and of all the people that I worked with then, that 1 year I came back to help administer the fellowship, she was the only person that sent me a note, because as I said, I left in anger. And I still remember what that note said, because it had helped. That note helped to you see this thing about, you don't know what you say to somebody, how that might affect the person. So in my anger, I was ready to just walk away. She was the only person that sent a note, and the note said, whatever you do, remember that there are some of us back here who are looking up to you. So that stopped me in my tracks, and I went home that day from work and had to sit down with God and say, okay, Lord, what do I do? I was really, really upset. So the next thing I went for youth service.
Yeah.
That was 2000. Graduated 99, went for youth service 2001. That note was the last communication we had until 2006. No, yeah. Well, what am I saying?
Yeah.
So okay, so came back.
Been so long like that.
Came back from
all the things.
Came back from youth service 2002, 2003. Started working in a telecommunication vendor firm. In 2003, I moved to work in a media organization, a post-production outfit owned by a faith-based organization. And when I got there, I was made media director. So at that time, she happened to be working in one of the
publications
in the associated offices, doing publishing books and all of that. So we just kicked off talking again. We're not dating, we're just friends.
Yeah.
So
by that time, we both had our relationship ups and downs here and there, and to an extent we talked to each other about we knew about what, so
things that transpired.
You are doing your own thing, I'm doing my own thing. Nothing about getting together, married, dating was anywhere around.
It wasn't close at all.
It wasn't close.
So in 2006.
Yeah.
So 2006 we went for a wedding.
Yeah.
A friend of ours was getting married, and I was the chauffeur, and she was one of the bridesmaids. After the wedding, so to take the bride and the groom to their hotel, I was driving, so I took the bride and groom to their hotel. She was in the car, and okay, going home. I was like, okay, we'll take the bride and groom to their hotel, then I'll take you home, and then I will go home. So after dropping the bride and groom, on our way out of the hotel area, which was around Ikeja, we drove through Ogudu to drop off some things somewhere else, and then I was like, I'm hungry. Have you eaten? No, that's when I got to find out that she had not eaten at the wedding. So I said, okay, let's eat. So we stopped somewhere to eat. And while we were eating, we just started talking. So I asked the question, I said, hey, I said, what do you think of us taking this friendship to another level? And she was like, what do you mean? I was like, look, to me, marriage is friendship at a higher level, in fact at the highest level. So if we've been friends for a while, I mean, what do you think of us taking this friendship to a higher level? She laughed and said, please stop this. I said, no, I'm serious. We've been friends now. There's nothing we talk about any and everything. We laugh, we cry. We've seen ourselves broke. We've seen ourselves with enough and all of that. So, I mean, we just build it up and take it to the next level. And she said, let's see how it goes. And we both laughed again, and we left it at that. So the rest of it, I'm sure you can find in the book, because there were some ups and downs. There was I'm not doing again. I'm not doing again.
Okay, I think he has talked a long time, so let me fill up some of the blank spaces so that it will not be like it's just one side of a story. So, like I said earlier, I met his voice before I met him. We ended up in a room that used to be a storehouse. They cleared it up for us. So it was a very deep room. So the door was very far away from where my bed was. And when he knocked at the door, each of us, stood up to know who is coming into our room. And then the next thing I heard, I'm trying to mimic the voice. This voice. With the deepest, the voice has, maybe I'm used to it now. So, but that day, hey, I heard I'm looking for Ruth Obi. That's my maiden name. And I was like, I just jumped from my bed. Who is this voice? I didn't ask who is the person. It's a voice. I was like, what? Who has this voice? That's why the whole world has heard this voice. Who has this voice? What? So I stood up and he was like, hi, my name is Auntie. I met your sister. She said to look out for you and all that. And I was like, oh, nice. Invited me for fellowship. I was glad to have met a new friend with such a voice, And so later on, I discovered that he was the choir director. He invited me for fellowship. I started to attend that same campus fellowship, and I wasn't really too regular because I was involved in another fellowship. But with time, I became more regular and I joined fully. And then all that happened, he graduated. I stayed back in school, completed my studies. The note he's talking about writing, I honestly don't remember writing, but I remember that season I used to write a lot. I used to write a lot of notes. Whatever comes to mind to encourage someone, I'll just write it and send a note. Those days we didn't have text, we didn't have WhatsApp, so we wrote notes with pen and paper, real writing. And so I wrote notes, I wrote behind pictures. I was always writing notes to encourage people. I used to write poetry too, a lot of poems as well. So I was writing a lot, and I wrote a lot. I've written a lot to a lot of people. So I don't particularly remember every letter, but it tells you that...
Sorry, I'm waiting to you. See what I was saying about how you make people feel.
Yeah.
Sometimes what you say is not as important as how it makes the hearer or the reader feel. I'm telling you that note made it helped, kind of like, all the fireworks might bring back bass. Then you read this note that just pulls you, a guy, back into perspective, and that's what it did to me.
So if you have something to tell someone, don't waste time. Please just write a note. If you have to send a text, it's important to express yourself, say what you have to say, because you might not have the opportunity, or you might deny someone of the encouragement they need to come out of some issue or the other. So that's by the way. So I wrote this note, and this note helped him through that, and I thank God for that, because that was all the reason for doing that. And so I went through school, but what happened was later on when I graduated, I got into a relationship, a very serious relationship in my opinion. So it was a serious relationship, and it seemed like it was going somewhere. But just before we had that conversation he talked about in 2006, in 2005, the whole relationship went south, because it started in 2002. The note was in 2001, so a year later, just after graduation, relationship began, and it lasted 3 years. And so at the time he was talking about moving the friendship to the next level, I had just come out of a relationship. And at that point, I said a lot of it in my book, so all the full story is there. So I was really going through a really serious emotional turmoil, and there was a lot of questions in my mind about, where did I get it wrong? What happened? Is this how relationships go? Am I ready for another relationship? So I was at that point where I wasn't ready. In fact, I had said, you know what, I'm going to just give a break, focus on my assignment, focus on things I'm called to do, purpose and all that. And so I was in that place. And so if I laughed and said, let's see how it goes, I wasn't even taking it serious, because I was like, no. I wasn't really taking it serious. And over the course of some of the years some of the time that passed after that, there was the start and stop. And the only reason for that start and stop was, when you feel, okay, I need to try this thing, I need to say yes, but there are still questions, there's still doubt. So every little concern that comes up, I'm like, no, I'm not. So there was a lot of doubt. There was a lot of double-mindedness within that whole, I think it was 2.5 or 2 years period. So there was a lot of here and there, not too sure how this would play out, and I wasn't even sure I was ready. And so in his opinion, we were going off and on. But really from get-go, I wasn't that into it because there were 2 reasons. Number 1, the doubt as to where I was coming from. And secondly, let me just be plain, because it wasn't something I was aware of initially. I was given, the past relationship as my reason, but it was later when I gave it some thought. That's why it's very good for you to take deep, think about how you're feeling, think about some of the decisions you're making, reasons for them. So I gave it some thought. And I found out that it was just like a philosophy or a mindset that just didn't allow me picture someone who was my friend becoming someone who's going to be my boyfriend or my husband. And I know a lot of people have that mindset without knowing it. You've just maybe like pictured a very, very spectacular way you're going to meet that person you're going to marry. And so because of that picture, you seem to despise the people around you, the friends that you have around you, the relationships that are already existing. And that's a mindset that I work with a lot of young people, young women to overcome, because it's a mindset, it's a stronghold that keeps people from actually getting married to the people that are best for them. Because you're looking for that strange, faraway person. And you don't know that the person you're looking for, like they say, what you're looking for in Sokoto is right there in your Sokoto. So a lot of times people don't look around. And I had that mindset unknowingly just had it somewhere hidden. And I was giving myself the reason that I wasn't ready. This other relationship broke up, so there has to be. I was giving myself the reason. But with thoughts and with a lot of things, I was able to discover that. So I just wanted to chip it in just so we will know that, really check what are those things holding you back from saying yes to some, of your friends, good people around. That you're not.
And this is I think the last thing I'm going to say in this part of this conversation.